there's always balancing between North and South, Muslims and Christians. And Yar'Adua was a northern.
It don't happen. Northern Muslims has finally been exposed by former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan. He said this is why Northern Muslims oppose my presidency after Yar'Adua'S death. Former President Goodluck Jonathan has recounted how Northern Muslim power blocks oppose the transfer of power to him following the death of his late principal known as Omar Yar'Adua, the ex-president of Nigeria who died in 2010. I want you guys to watch the full details of what this man said, and don't forget to subscribe if you never do so.
There's always balancing between North and South, Muslims and Christians. And Yar'Adua was a northern Muslim who was the president. And he took over from a southern Christian, Obasanjo, who ruled for 8 years. So definitely the northern Muslims wanted Yar'Adua to at least do 8 years before he could come back to the south for another, probably a Christian, to take over. But well, the health issue came up, and it was the problem. And that is why even to allow me to act was an issue. When Yar'Adua was going for the medical checkup, actually a letter was written. Of course, the Constitution says that for the Vice President to act, the President will send a letter to the Senate and the House of Reps, informing them. That letter was written, but the person who the letter was handed over to, I will not mention the name to you now, was one of the aides of Yar'Adua, refused to submit the letter to the National Assembly. And Yar'Adua became so ill that he had no control of issues. So we had the country where the president was not available and there was no acting president. Yes, as a vice president, you can take over the responsibilities of some responsibilities of the president. You know, the president of Nigeria has two main responsibilities. First, you're the chief executive of the country, so like a prime minister of a country. That the vice president can assume, wait, you don't need any transfer. And I was doing that because we're having an executive council meeting, we're approving memos from ministers, so the government was going on. But there was no commander-in-chief, which is the second responsibility of the president of Nigeria, besides being the executive head of the country. And there's nothing like acting commander-in-chief. Either you're a commander-in-chief or not. But when you become an acting president, you are at the same time a commander-in-chief. So that was lacking, and no country allows that gap. A country like America, they don't allow that gap at all. Yes. If American president wants to, even if it's a whitlow, that he require anesthesia, that he will be off for 5 minutes, he will hand over to the vice president. Yes. Before that procedure. Immediately he regained consciousness to take over. But we stayed for some time. And that led to what they call the doctrine of necessity. When the National Assembly felt that the country was in a situation where it was not expected, they now have to initiate this doctrine of necessity, and they now made me to act as the president without the letter from Yar'Adua. So the country was tense. Yes. And under this North-South divide, Christian-Muslim divide, it was really tense. And every day I was hearing about coup. I remember one day, I will not mention the names of some of my friends, came to look, Vice President, that time I was not even acting. They have not even moved the doctrine of necessity. I was still the Vice President. No, you don't have to sleep here. You have to come and sleep in my guest house, and so on. I said, no, I will stay in the State House. If anybody wants to kill me, it's better you kill me in the State House, so the Nigerians will know that they assassinated me in the State House. They know I have not committed any offense. If I decided to go and stay in a guest house, and wherever I'm going, security people would know. And if people go and kill me there, they will now say Indian girls brought apple to kill me. And I wouldn't want that kind of story. But if they assassinate, it's better that I die here in the State House than being assassinated outside the State House, because all kinds of stories will come up. So that was how tense it was. And to me, I was not bothered. Really, I was not bothered. And I was very calm. But that was the scenario.
You see, when the Northerners are not benefiting, they start shouting, they start forming coalition, they start looking for a way to remove the person in power. You see, Tinubu is ruling now, and debt keeps increasing in the Nigerian debt management, according to Nigerian debt management. And guess what they are doing? They are planning on how to remove Tinubu from seats. Meanwhile, Goodluck Jonathan was doing everything humanly possible, even when a liter of fuel is not even up to 200 naira. They still do anything to remove this man from power. They put Buhari, who came and destroyed and killed. Later, Buhari put Tinubu, who make things worse and worse. Which way? The real problem of this country is the northern part of the country. Yes. Even some Northerners have even acknowledged that they are the real problem of Nigeria. That for Nigeria to get better, they have to get rid of the North. But you can't get rid of that whole country. Of that whole country known as Arewa. The only best thing to do is just for everybody to go their separate ways. Hello? Do you get what is happening? You hear from Goodluck Jonathan, you hear from the horses man, not me, Tokamo. How this man, how the, let's say, handing over power was breached. You see what is going on? Nigeria is in a big mess. What exactly do Northerners want? You cannot please the Northerners for that is just it. No matter how hard you try to please the Northerners, provided it is not their own person, their own people, their own person that is in power, they will not be satisfied. Northerners prefer to be in power and be suffering. Look at when Buhari was ruling, even though that things was hard in Nigeria then, Northerners did not complain. They were smiling, suffering and smiling under Buhari's regime. And had it been that it is a Northerner that is doing the same way that Tinubu is doing, Northerners wouldn't have complained at all. You wouldn't have seen a single Northerner coming out to complain. They would be suffering and smiling because it is a Northerner that is in the presidency. I don't know if you guys are getting something. That is the type of mindset the Northerners, they really need the orientation. In fact, their brain has been brainwashed. What's wrong with these people? Are they not normal human beings? Their life, no, they accept enjoyment for this life. If your own person, if your own people happen to be the one ruling this country and they are making things harder for all the whole part of the country, they don't even send. Look at what happened in Benue. How many doctors did you see that came out to condemn it? None of them. But when before them in Uromi, all of them, it was as if they removed all these dogs from cage. They started backing, back. Now, 200 people has been killed in Benue. No single Northerner. I didn't see any single Northerner governor coming out to condemn this attack against Benue people. That is to show you the level of wickedness in these people's blood. That is to show you how these people are mean towards others. When it is not them, they doesn't care. At first it's happening to others. Not others wouldn't dare to care. But when it comes knocking at their door, that is when you will know the type of hearts and how so mean these people are. Others need to repent. They need to repent. It is so sad. Because one problem for another is a problem for all. That is how it should be. And not when it reaches your turn, you don't want others to partake because it's not your problem. No. Anyway, my people, what I got to talk as Goodluck Jonathan Ebere have exposed the type of work, the thing he passed through in the hands of northern Muslims. My love outside member humble self Christy. I beg if you never subscribe, kindly do well to subscribe. Subscription and free make you watch our updates.